This is Chapter 7 of Reading Biblical Hebrew, Introduction to Grammar. We're at TechScroll.com, and I'm Prof Brian. Chapter 7 is about adjectives. Adjectives describe nouns. Big table, blue sky, strong woman, tall man. Adjectives describe nouns, and they can do it in three different positions. Attributive position is like great Scott. Predicate position is like Scott is great. Substantival position is like Scott the Great. The great what? The great person, the great king, the great conqueror, the great rhetorician, well, you'd only know by context because the noun simply isn't there in the sentence. How can we tell if our adjective is attributive, predicate, or substantival? Well, it's based partly on agreement and partly on its position relative to the noun. Now, all adjectives agree with the noun that they modify, both in gender and in number. So if our noun is feminine and singular, our adjective is going to be feminine and singular. If our noun is masculine and plural, the adjective is going to be masculine and plural, and so forth. The thing that is important for us at the moment is whether or not it agrees in definiteness. So if our noun is definite, our attributive adjective is going to agree with it in its definiteness. So if the noun is definite, the adjective is going to have the article. If the noun is not definite, then the adjective is not going to have the article. Remember, though, that a noun can be definite in more than one way, not just by having the article. So you have to note the concept, is it definite, not just whether or not the noun has the article. Also, attributive adjectives tend to be after the noun that they modify. Predicate adjectives are never definite. It doesn't matter whether the noun that they agree with in gender and number is definite. The predicate adjective is never definite. Also, the predicate adjective precedes the noun that it modifies, usually. So we have a couple little memory devices. You say AA for attributive is after. PP for predicate precedes. And NN is for as a noun when there is no noun. Because there's no noun really to agree with for substantival. The substantival adjective takes all the characteristics that the noun would have if the noun had been there in the sentence. A couple other things that we're picking up in this chapter are the comparative use of min. Now we've learned min as from, like there that is, and we take it away from there. And that's separation of space. But min can also indicate separation of degree, the idea of this is more than that. We'll also pick up the demonstrative pronouns. This, that, these, and those. One of the best ways for us to work on this, though, is to go to the practice readings here in TechScroll. What we've done is we've taken just a handful of nouns, like man and woman and king and queen, and a handful of adjectives, like good and bad, and then we've jumbled them up in different orders, with and without the definite article, occasionally throwing in min and using the demonstrative pronouns. So that'll just give us practice. It'll put it all in context, and that's where we're going to head next. Also, while all the details are in the chapter, remember that all the takeaways are there on page 2 of your TechScroll study sheets. Let's actually take a look at the summary before we move on to the practice readings. So adjectives come into 3 positions: attributive, predicate, and substantival, and we have several examples of each one. So let's take a look. Here we have ish tov, and the Hebrew would be a man, a good one, and English would be a good man. So we're remembering that attributive is after, and attributives are agreeing in gender, number, and definiteness. Both of these are masculine singular, and neither one have the article. The second example, ha'isha ha'tova, is the woman, the good one, or the good woman. And you can see that both are articular, they're both definite, both are feminine and singular. Of course, you can make a noun definite in more than one way. If it's in construct with a definite noun, if it has a pronominal suffix on the end, or if it's a proper noun, it's definite, even though it doesn't have the article. The third example is ha'anashim ha'tovim, which is the men, the good ones. Note that they agree in gender, number, and definiteness. The good men. Nashim tovot, women, good ones, so good women. And in the last one, we're adding a demonstrative article, a demonstrative adjective, and it comes at the end after the other adjective. So we have ha'anashim,
hatovim, ha'ela, the men, the good ones, the these ones, which of course is bad English, so these good men. Predicate position adjectives usually are preceding the noun that they modify, but the thing is they're never definite. So we look at tova isha, we have a good one, a woman, but now the word order is telling us that we're making a sentence, and we have a woman is good. Tov ha'isha, again the adjective precedes, and now the noun has an article. So instead of a man is good, the man is good. Tovim ha'anashim, so we have good ones, the men, and over here, unfortunately, we do have a typo. This is the men are good. Tovim anashim, no article, men are good. And here we are using the third person pronoun as a demonstrative. So he, which is in predicate position, ha'isha ha'tova. So we could say she is the woman, the good one, or that is the woman, the good one. That is the good woman. A substantival adjective doesn't have a noun with it. It has all the characteristics that the noun would have. So we will translate it as a noun when there is no noun with it. So ha-kadosh, kadosh means holy, it's articular, and we would say something like the Holy One. Kadosh Yisrael, you can see that this is actually in construct with the following noun, and we'll say the Holy One of Israel. Gedolei ha'ir, again we have an adjective standing in the place of the noun. It's a masculine plural construct, and it's tied to the city here. So the important men, because it is a masculine adjective, the important men of the city. It could, however, refer to the important people of the city, because whenever you have a mixed group, we use the default form, which happens to also be the masculine. Shem hakitana. Shem is name, and it is in construct with the substantival adjective that follows. Katan, katon is to be small, katana, small or young. So this is the name of the young one, but the adjective is feminine, so we can infer it's the name of the young girl. In this exercise, we've only got 4 different nouns, 2 adjectives, the demonstratives, the preposition men, and the article, but we have them in a whole bunch of different combinations. So the point here is not to tax your knowledge of vocabulary or even to be reviewing vocabulary. The point here is to really be paying attention to the order things are in, what is agreeing with what, particularly with definiteness and what's articular, and then we'll be catching also that comparative use of men. We're going to start by just going through in order, but then we're going to start hitting the random button so that we can mix things up a little bit. Here we go. We have Isha Tova. Isha means woman, a woman, and Tova is the feminine singular form of the adjective Tov. So a woman, a good one. So the question is the adjective preceding the noun or is it after the noun? Well, it's after the noun. Usually that means it's attributive position. And so our answer would be a good woman, the vast majority of the time. Now it happens to be true that predicate position adjectives do not always precede. We do want to learn that litany though, predicate precedes. But when there's no article on either one, then you do actually have the option that it could be predicate. So we did include the option here for the sake of completeness, but really attributive is after, and a good woman the vast majority of the time would be how to translate these. Now we have ha'isha ha'tova. So you'll notice that both are articular, so both are definite. They're also both feminine and singular. So we have the woman, the good one, and good English would be the good woman, because attributive is after, and this is attributive position in English. In English, attributive is before. It's kind of neat, though, that because Hebrew goes right to left and English goes left to right, that if you just put the meaning of the Hebrew word in English underneath, you end up kind of in the right order. Okay, tova isha. Tova, is our adjective preceding or is it after? It is preceding. And so now we're going to be making a sentence. Predicate precedes. And so a woman is good. Tova ha'isha. Again, is our adjective preceding or is it after? It's preceding, so we're expecting predicate position. And then are they agreeing in definiteness? No, they're not. That's another confirmation. If the noun is definite and the adjective is not, then it really doesn't matter what order they're in. It's predicate position. So now we're saying the woman is good. Nashim tovot. This example is instructive for an additional reason. Nashim is the word for women, right? That's the plural of isha. It's actually built on a different root than ish is, right? Isha has that dagesh forte in it, and that's this here noon. But we've lost the aleph when we make the plural form of women. We also, perhaps unexpectedly, use the im noun ending. And im is usually on masculine nouns, but here it's on a feminine noun. What does the adjective do? The adjective still uses ot. So the adjective isn't just trying to match the appearance of the noun. The adjective is actually agreeing in gender, regardless of whether the spelling matches. All right, so where is our adjective? Does it precede or is it after? Okay, it's after, so that's going to be which position? Attributive position. So this is going to be translated as good women. Yes, there's a small chance that it could also be women are good because neither one are definite, but most likely it's good women. Hanashim hatovot. So hanashim, again, this is the plural of isha, so this is women. It's articular, so it's the women. And then we have tovot, feminine plural, and it's also articular. So the women, the good ones, the good women. Tovot nashim. Tovot is the adjective. It precedes the noun. This should be predicate position. So women are good. Whereas this example is almost the same, but now the noun is articular. So tovot hanashim, the women are good. Okay, now we're starting to mix in the adjective bad along with the adjective good. So isha risha'a would be a bad or a wicked one. But the syntax is staying pretty much the same. So we're just going to run ahead here a little bit till we pick up a demonstrative. Okay, so we have ha'isha hatova hazot. Ha'isha would be the woman. Hatova would be the good one. And hazot would be the this one. Of course, we don't say the this in English, but all of these are articular. They're all definite. They're all feminine. They're all singular. And attributive is after, so we have this good woman. Here we have tova ha'isha hazot, so very similar, but we've switched the order of these two words, and tova does not have an article. Predicate position adjectives are never articular. They're never definite. So if this is predicate position, that means we're making a sentence. We're going to have to add in a form of to be. And so we have ha'isha, the woman, hazot, the this one, is tova, good. So this woman is good. Hanashim hatovot ha'ela. So hanashim, the women, hatovot, the good ones, right? Ot, because it's feminine plural. This is an irregular way to spell a feminine plural, but they are both agreeing in gender and number and in definiteness. And then ha'ela, the these ones at the end, these good women. Tovot hanashim ha'ela, very similar, but no article, and the adjective is now preceding the noun. So predicate position, we're making a sentence. Hanashim ha'ela, these women are good. Okay, we're going to skip ahead a little bit and do a few with men, and then we'll start adding in some other features. So here we have ha'ish, ha'tov, ha'zeh, which would be the man, the good one, the this one, so this good man. And then tov, ha'ish, hazeh. The adjective now precedes, so we're making a sentence. It's predicate. Ha'ish, hazeh, this man is good. Ha'anashim, hatovim, ha'ela. The men, the good ones, these ones, these good men. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit more to get a different type of demonstrative. Here we go. We have ha'ish, hatov, hahu. So we have noun and the adjective is after and the demonstrative is after. So these are all attributive position. The man, the good one, hahu, that one. So that good man. Tov ha'ish hahu. So ha'ish hahu is that man. Tov is not definite and it's in predicate position. So that man is good. Ha'anashim hatovim hahem. The men, the good ones, those ones, not the they. Those ones. So those good men. Tovim ha'anashim hahem. So we have the men, the those ones, but the adjective now precedes, predicate precedes, and we're making a sentence. These men are good. Excuse me, those men are good. It would have been ha'ela for these men. Those men are good. Okay, now let's jump ahead a little bit further. Now we're going to start incorporating the use of the preposition min in its comparative sense. So min is about separation, and that can be spatial, from somewhere, from someone. It can also be separation of degree. So one thing is more of some characteristic than another, so more than. In English, we'll often put er on the end of an adjective to make it comparative. And we'll work our ways through and see what is going to make good sense in English, but we'll be kind of pedantic with the Hebrew. So let's take the first bit up to min. We'll just kind of see min as a divider. So if we have rasha, ha'ish, hazeh, we have an adjective preceding a noun and a demonstrative following the noun. So the one that precedes is predicate position. The one that is after is attributive position. So let's take this bit. The man, this one, or this man in English. And then we're going to say is rasha. So that could be this man is wicked or evil or bad. And then than, more than. Ha'isha, hahi. So ha'isha is the woman. Hahi is in attributive position. It's the third person pronoun used as the far demonstrative. So this is that. So we have this man is rasha more so than that woman. And if rasha we're just going to take as some type of bad, in English the comparative would be worse. So we would have this man is badder than, worse than, that woman. Tov ha'ish min ha'isha. So now our adjective is again out front. So it's predicate position. Predicate precedes. It's not articular. And we have ha'ish here and then min. So we're just going to take min as our dividing point and translate the stuff up here. Ha'ish is the man. The man is good because that's predicate position. He's gooder than. So in English, better. The man is better than ha'isha, the woman. Here we have tov ha'ish hazeh min ha'isha hahi. So we're going to take min as our divider, and we're going to take this much up here. Tov ha'ish hazeh. This adjective precedes its predicate position. This demonstrative adjective is after. It is attributive position. So ha'ish hazeh is this man. Tov, this man is good. Min, than, gooder than. Better English would be, well, better than. Ha'isha, hahi, then that woman. This is attributive position, and it's the far demonstrative. Risha'a, ha'isha, min, ha'ish. So we're going to divide it min, take the first part, risha'a, ha'isha. The adjective is in predicate position because it precedes and it doesn't have the article. So the woman is bad, min, than, ha'ish, the man. The woman is worse than the man. Risha'a, ha'isha, hazot, min. Now I'm pausing on min even though it's tied to the next word with makef. I'm just doing that for the syntax. We're going to divide our efforts at min. Min, ha'ish, hahu. So risha'a, ha'isha, hazot. Our noun here is in the middle. So we have a predicate position adjective preceding and an attributive position adjective, which is after. We take this bit together first. This woman is bad, than that man. Right? So hahu, this is attributive position as well, and it is the far demonstrative, whereas zot is the near demonstrative. Tova ha'isha min ha'ish. So now we have the woman is good, because tova is predicate position. There's no article, it precedes. Is good than ha'ish. The woman is better than the man. Tova ha'isha hazot min ha'ish hahu. So we've got a lot of pieces here on the table now. We're going to divide it min. We're going to take this bit first. We see our nouns here in the middle. So we have predicate position adjective in front, attributive position adjective after. So ha'isha hazot is this woman, is good, min, than, ha'ish hahu, the man, that one. So this woman is better than that man. Risha'im ha'anashim min hanashim. So ha'anashim is our noun. We're dividing it min. Here's our noun. In front of it, or preceding, is our predicate position adjective. There's no article. So the men are bad, min, than, hanashim, the women. The men are worse than the women. Risha'im ha'anashim ha'ela, min ha'isha hahi. Divide it min. Risha'im ha'anashim ha'ela. Take the attributive position adjective first. So these men, predicate position next after adding a form of to be, are bad, min, than, more than, ha'isha hahi, the woman, that one. These men are worse than that woman. Risha'im ha'anashim ha'ela min hanashim ha'hena. So we're going to divide it min. We're going to take the attributive position adjective first, and it's agreeing indefiniteness as well as number and gender. Well, ela, it matches either gender, these. So we have these men are bad, min, than, hanashim ha'hena. So this is the far demonstrative. We're taking the third person independent pronoun. It's articular here. We're using it as a demonstrative. So these men are worse than those women. Okay, now we're just going to start hitting the random button and see where we go, because you can tell we've been taking them in chunks and everything looks a little bit like the one before it. So let's just see what we get. Ha'isha, ha'risha'a, hazot. Where's our noun? Our noun's up here at the beginning, so both of our adjectival pieces are after. They're also all agreeing indefiniteness by being articular. So we have an attributive adjective sequence here. The woman, the bad one, this one. So this bad woman, this wicked woman, something like that. Whoops, we're trying to go random. Hena hanashim. We've only got 2 words in this one. Our noun is down here. So our demonstrative pronoun is in predicate position. It both precedes and it doesn't have the article. We're not, however, going to start our English sentence with the noun. We're not going to say, the women are those ones. That would be pretty unusual English. In English, we need to also have our demonstrative pronoun start the sentence. So we'll be saying, those are the women. Yes, it could also be, they are the women. It would depend on context which way you would want to translate that, because the third person pronouns can either be exactly that, third person independent pronoun, or they can serve as the demonstrative. Okay, you need to be using the random button. And if you're in this interface, the random button is also your space key. Risha'a hamalka hahi. Oh, we switched our noun. So we have both kings and queens as well as men and women being good and bad in this set of examples. Our noun is in the middle. So we have an adjective which precedes and is in predicate position, and we've got one that is after and is attributive. This one is a demonstrative pronoun. So we have hamalka hahi, which is that queen is wicked. Hu ha'ish. So that could be hu being the regular third person pronoun. He is ha'ish, the man. Notice this is in predicate position and is not articular. Or it could be that is the man. And it would depend on context which way we would want to translate it. Anashim tovim. Oh, we got another easy one. So just 2 words. The noun is first. The adjective is after. So we have good men. Yes, it could be men are good, but very seldom will that be the case. So just a reminder, when there's no article on either one, even when the adjective is after, there's a feasible chance that it is a predicate. Nashim tovot. Now we already did this one, but women, good ones, and it could potentially be women are good, but in all likelihood, it's good women. Ha'isha harisha'a hahi. So the woman, the wicked one, that one, that wicked woman. Risha'im ha'anashim min hanashim. Predicate position precedes, so we're going to say the men are wickeder than the women, or the men are worse than the women, except when they're not. Hena hanashim hatovot. So we have a demonstrative at the beginning. This is predicate position. In English, we're going to need to start with that. So those are the women, the good ones. Those are the good women. Zeh hamelech. Zeh is in predicate position. This is the king. Tovot hamilakot ha'ela. So good ones, the queens, these ones. Tovot is in predicate position, so these queens are good. Risha'a ha'isha hazot min ha'ish hahu. We're going to divide it the min. Our noun's in the middle. We're going to take our attributive one first. Ha'isha hazot, this woman. Predicate position next is bad, min, than, so worse than, ha'ish hahu, than that man. This woman is worse than that man. Okay, so that's what I encourage you to do to practice these adjectives. Just keep hitting the random button. You got to pay attention to masculine and feminine spellings, especially because you might have nashim for women and then the adjective's going to be ending in ot. You need to pay attention to what's articular and what's not. Be looking out for min, and just drill yourself on attributive and predicate and force yourself to classify it. Don't just look at the Hebrew and say, I think the translation would be such and such. Force yourself to say, this adjective precedes or it's after. To tell yourself that this demonstrative pronoun is the near or the far demonstrative. And say all those pieces. It will indeed help you learn it. Let's do a few of the practice readings from the biblical verses as well. We'll see just a little bit more about the use of adjectives together. We have V'lo asa hayashar be'enei Adonai Elohaiv keDavid aviv. So we have the negation, V'lo asa you've had as a vocabulary word, so he did not. Hayashar. So yashar is an adjective, and what noun does it go with? It doesn't go with any noun. So this is a substantival adjective. We didn't have any of those in our exercise about good and bad men, women, kings, and queens. So yashar is upright. It's articular. He didn't do the upright stuff. We might turn that into a phrase in English like what was upright. He didn't do what was upright. Be'enei Adonai Elohaiv. In the eyes of the Lord his God, keDavid aviv, like David his father. Remember, av, when it has a pronominal suffix, has a hierarch yod in the singular form. And then vav here, it's a consonantal vav, but it comes from who? It's the third masculine singular suffix. V'hamayim ra'im. So hamayim, the water, and we can see that the water is articular, it's definite, and ra'im, even though it's after, does not have the article, and so this is actually predicate. The water was bad, or the water is bad. Depends on the context. Is somebody speaking, or is the narrator telling us this? Ki gadol ata. So ata is you. The pronoun is always definite. Gadol precedes, and it doesn't have the article. So it is not definite. It's predicate position. Indeed, or for, you are great. Vayigash Avraham vayomar ha'af tispet tzadik im rasha. So Abraham approached vayomar, and he said, and we have a hey over a patak. Is this the article or is this the interrogative? Well, if we had hey patak dagesh and the dagesh going into an aleph, it would reject the dagesh and the preceding vowel would have lengthened to kamet. So this is not the article. Then we have to wonder, is this the af that means knows anger, or is this the af that means also? So maybe we need to decide that once we see context. So we're asking a question about you will sweep away. So it's a question, will you sweep away tzadik im rasha? So again, we have some substantival adjectives. Tzadik, a righteous person. So will you sweep away a righteous person? Im, with rasha, a wicked person. But then we can modify the English because he's intending to represent the class of people that would be righteous. So we can actually translate, Abraham approached and he said, will you also sweep away the righteous with the wicked, even though there's no article here, because English uses the article to represent the class. Vayomer paro el Yosef lemor, avika ve'achecha ba'u elecha. So this is Pharaoh said to Joseph, quote, Avika, your father, ve'achecha, and your brothers have come to you. Yeshalamuni ra'a tachat tova. So they repay me. This is in a psalm, so this is probably a context of complaint. They repay me ra'a tachat tova. Ra'a is evil. Tova is good. These are substantival now, but we can do the same thing in English. And tachat, even though it's often under, can also be in place of. So they repay me evil in place of good, or they repay me evil for good. And that's worth complaining about. Tzidkat yesharim tzatzilein. So something will deliver somebody, them. Tzidkat, patak tav, this is a feminine singular construct. The righteousness of yesharim. So again, we have a substantival adjective. Yashar is to be upright. Morally upright would be the case here when describing people. So the righteousness of upright people, or the righteousness of the upright, using the article in English in order to represent the class, even though there's not an article in Hebrew, because it's not talking about specific upright people. The righteousness of the upright will deliver them. Vayar Elohim et kol asher asa, v'hinei tov me'od. So he saw, who is the he, Elohim, God saw, et marks the direct object. He saw everything which he made or he had made. You should actually know the meaning of asa by now. V'hinei, and indeed, tov me'od, good, very. And to make that smooth English, we'll add a subject. It was very good. Et hadivarim ha'ela deber Adonai, et kol kahalchem bahar metok ha'esh. So these words, right? Hadivarim ha'ela, they're both articular. This is following, it's after, it's attributive. These words, and that's the direct object. So the Lord spoke these words to all of the congregation of Ya'al. So to your whole assembly, to your whole congregation, bet in, or maybe better at for English, at the mountain, mitok. What is mitok? Well, the mi and the dagesh forte in that tav are min. From the tok, midst of, ha'esh, the fire. The Lord spoke all these words to all your assembly at the mountain, out of, or just from, the midst of the fire. Ma ata ro'eh Yirmiyahu? What do you see, Jeremiah? Va'omar, and I said, so Jeremiah is speaking, te'enim, figs. So the Lord is showing Jeremiah a vision, and in the vision there are figs, and then he makes a comment about the figs, right? Te'enim, here's te'enim again. And let's notice what's going on with the article. So we have ha te'enim, ha tovot, tovot ma'od. So the noun is followed by the same adjective, right? Feminine plural. That tells us that te'enim is an irregular spelling for its plural. This is a feminine noun, even though it looks masculine. And we have an articular case and a non-articular case. The articular adjective is going to be attributive, and the non-articular adjective is predicate, even though it doesn't precede. So we have the figs, the good ones. The good figs are tovot me'od. They are very good. The haraot, and so you see that we're not repeating the word figs anymore. So this is now substantival. So we can say the bad figs or the bad ones, or we might get away with it in English too and just say, and the bad, raot, no article, are very bad. Let's do one more. So ve'esh yatsa'a me'et Adonai. So ve'esh, and fire went out, me'et. What is me'et? Maybe you remember it as vocabulary. It's back there in chapter 5, but this is min plus the preposition et, meaning with, from with the Lord. Hebrew can pile up its prepositions, and in English we usually only need to translate the first one, but we could say something like, fire went out from the presence of the Lord, thinking of et as somehow indicating near to, from near to the Lord. Okay, so in these examples, we ran across several substantival adjectives which we had not seen in our contrived set about good and bad men, women, and kings and queens. And so hopefully you are off to a really good start. I encourage you to keep going through the first list and use that random button, and then also work through the rest of the practice readings. You can get that immediate feedback here in the practice readings of TextScroll before you move on to your workbook, where you need to be more deliberate about trying to solve everything yourself before you check the answer key at the end to see how you did, and then ask any questions that you have to your instructor.